Well, I wrote Just Like Honey, and I wrote it sometime early in '84. Well, for a start, it was called Just Like Alice at first. And I didn't like that because it sounded too much like Alice in Wonderland, like Alice takes a trip and stuff. And so I was singing Just Like Alice, and it didn't sound right. It just didn't sound right. And I was saying to Jim, what girl's name could we? And he's going, I don't know, Carol. Just like Carol. And it's like, no. And it's like, this went on for a couple of months. And like, I had this song that I really liked, and Jim liked it. And it was the Just Like song. It was like Just Like. And we are saying, let's do the Just Like song at John Peel. And I was saying, yeah, but we don't have a real title yet. And it's like Jim's saying, well, it'll happen, it'll come. We'll just go and record it and see what happens. And that's what we did. We went and recorded it, and then Jim had to go and do the vocals. And me and Jim went away. We sat in a corner and we were just going, Susan, Caroline, Heather. And then I think one of you said Cindy, and that sounded like the best, just like Cindy. And I remember saying, oh, that sounds cool, it's just like Cindy, just like Cindy. And it was like, no, it still doesn't sound right. And then I just said, honey, just like honey, just like honey. And Jim would say, well, doesn't Van Morrison sing just like honey from a bee? And I was like, yeah, but it's totally different. It's like totally different. I don't think anybody's going to notice. I don't think it matters. And we've got 5 minutes. We've got to go and record this fucking vocal. So that was it. We decided, just like honey. We did it. We went and recorded the vocal, and that was it. Just like honey, not just like Alice, Susan, Claire, whatever. Every girl's name in the world was the name of that song.
Just Like Honey, we knew there was going to be that part at the end. I mean, I was never going to be singing that part. So, and at the time, we asked Karen and my girlfriend Laurence at the time that I was going out with, and they each recorded a part. And to be totally honest with you, Laurence didn't really quite make it. She gets credit on the record, but I don't think she's actually on that record.
Jim's girlfriend Laurence, or she's a French girl, Laurence is how you say it, but we called her Laurence because we are, unsophisticated Scotsmen. But anyway, Jim's girlfriend Laurence came down to the studio to do the backing vocals, just like honey. And she couldn't do it, and she was all self-conscious, and she couldn't do it. So I got my girlfriend Rona down, and she was the same, all self-conscious and, not a real singer, and couldn't do it and couldn't project. And it was just not very good. And then we were all through the girlfriends. And then we asked, Bobby's girlfriend, Karen, was coming down to London. And so we said, do you think Karen could do that backing vocal? And Bobby asked her, and she came down to the studio. And she sang just like honey, about 20 times. We took one perfect Just Like Honey, sampled it, and that's one Just Like Honey just repeating over and over and over again. Nobody knows that because samplers weren't a big thing then. And especially like rock bands didn't use samplers. So like people, if I would have said to anybody, my friends, oh, that's a sampler, they would have said, what the fuck's a sampler? But anyway, that was Karen Parker, Bobby Gillespie's girlfriend. We were huge fans of as you say, the Hal Blaine and the Wrecking Crew. I didn't even know about the Wrecking Crew in those days. But I remember we were huge fans of the Beach Boys, huge fans of Phil Spector and that whole sound, the whole huge sound that the Phil Spector had. And the Beach Boys, they had a huge sound. But we loved the Ronettes. We loved the girl bands. And I think it was Jim who came up with the Ronettes drum beat. In fact, it was definitely Jim. I remember I wrote it, but I used to play it faster. I would play it mid-tempo, like, listen to the girl as she had I would sing Just Like Honey like that. And I remember when we did go into the studio, I remember Jim did say, make it slow, do the Ronettes drum beat. And that was it. That was the thing that made it from a good song, like any a great song. It was the part that was needed. And then we went and recorded that. Bobby did the drums.
Just Like Honey was one of the early ones that we recorded. There was a bunch that we recorded more or less in one day. I think we recorded about 5 songs. Not mixed, but recorded. And I think Just Like Honey, You Trip Me Up. God, it's so long ago now that I just can't remember how it all went down.
Well, for a start, everybody was shocked when we were recording it. Creation Records was run by Alan McGee, and his partner, Dick Green. I knew we'd made a really good record because when we were recording Psychocandy, we really didn't like people come down to the studio. People would come down, Dick and Alan would come down, and maybe another couple of people from Creation would come down. And we didn't like it, to be honest. We just liked to be left alone, and we didn't like to be disrupted. But every now and again, somebody would come down. And Dick Green come down when we just finished Just Like Honey. And I remember we played it to him, and he was just like, his reaction was just unbelievable. It was kind of like slightly insulting as well, because he was saying basically, I never thought you guys could make a record like this. It's so good. I can't believe this record you just made. Oh my God. And he phoned Alan and going, Alan, you've got to come down to the studio. This song I've just made, it's a hit record. And we were like, what? And it wasn't a hit record. It was definitely never going to be a hit record in the 80s. You know, it was in a good, fair world, it might have been, but not in the 1980s. But anyway, Alan came down and he listened to it and he was like, oh my God, this is like a hit record. And we were going, it's not a hit record. These sort of songs never be a hit. Anyway, everybody loved it. And when we were sequencing the album, me and Jim was saying, well, everybody was really shocked when they heard this. Why do we make this the very first song? Because it shocks people. Because what they're expecting is feedback. What they're expecting is, an angsty vocal or whatever. But they're not going to expect this. They're not going to expect Just Like Honey to sound like this. It's going to be a big surprise to them, the way it was with Dick Green and Alan McGee and everybody else who heard it first time. It was like the slightly insulting phrase of, I didn't think yous could make a record like this. So I think that's why we did it, just for the shock value. It is probably our most popular song. And it wasn't always that way. It wasn't that way until that movie, The Lost in Translation.
Sofia Coppola, the Lost in Translation film, Just Like Honey being used, it really worked for us because there was a type of person that come and see the band, and with that film, it kind of really mixed things up. There would be a lot younger people would be out there, and it brought a whole new kind of section of the audience that might not have really thought about coming to a Mary Chain show before. So thank you, Sophia. That was great.
To be honest, we never even played that live before. In the 80s and 90s, we never played it live. We thought it was too slow for a live set. We just never played it. And we only started playing it when we got back together in 2007 because people were demanding it. So we arranged it for live and it turned out pretty good. And then when we started playing it live in 2007, we noticed that a lot of people in the front row would start making out. It became like a make-out song for lots of people, But we play it all the time now. We play it every show now because it is our biggest song and we like playing it.